Hello, this is Julie Mansell from Gem Ministries International, and the next phrase that we want to look at in this series is the phrase, the mark of the beast. And we look at that in Revelations chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. And they read, "It also causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of his name." So we talked in the last video about who the beast was, and that was the Caesar Nero. And this was a pretty common practice in those days of emperor worship. And Julius Caesar started this way back in his day. And it was a continuation of that Roman imperial cult, and was especially dominant in the eastern provinces where we have this new fledgling Christian church emerging. So to get into the market where people bought and sold food that was known as the Agora, they had to show that they had paid homage or given a sacrifice to the altar or the statue of Nero, and had some ashes from that sacrifice on their forehead or on their hand. And they also had to say Caesar is Lord, because that was a common part of the whole process. So you can imagine how this was quite traumatic for the new fledgling Christians, because Jesus is Lord, and to have to put this on their hand and say that Caesar is Lord was not something they freely wanted to do. They were also excluded from the various trading guilds, which meant that many of them lost their ability to continue in their line of work, in their businesses, because they wouldn't take this mark and pay homage to Caesar Nero. So that is the origination of the mark of the beast and what it meant to the culture and the people of that day in that early first century Christian church. It's nothing to do with putting a chip in your hand or getting a COVID vaccination or any other thing that we have tried to come up with in the 21st century to say that this is the mark of the beast. It was a first century problem for the first century church that needed to get into the market to buy and sell food and sell their wares, and needed to get into their trade guilds as well to practice their trade. So this is Julie Mansell from Gem Ministries International. Hope you were blessed by that revelation.